Alright, Hollywood, I'm back again. Got my flying V here today. Haven't used this in a while. Forgot how cool it was to have a flying V. Anyway, today's topic, expanding your music taste. Now, if you're like me, you like a very specific type of music. I like hard rock, heavy metal. I'm sure you can notice at this point. I have a very limited music taste. But, um, I've expanded over the years, and I've expanded because listening to the same type of music over and over again is pretty boring. Now, as sacrilegious as it is to say about heavy metal because it is the best genre of music, at least to me, but it gets boring after a while. You listen to Iron Maiden for the 10th, the 100th time, and you're just like, fuck, I need something different. So you just listen to Judas Priest for 100 more times, and you get bored of that, and you just keep going on and on and on until eventually you're left with no metal. Somehow. My nose is very stuffy today. I can't explain why. Probably the cold. But that gets to my point about expanding your music taste. Now, when I was in high school, I was very staunchly opposed to anything that was not metal. If it wasn't Motley Crue or Kiss or Black Sabbath, I was like, fuck all that. I don't need any of that extra shit in my life. But surprisingly, or maybe not so much so, it got boring after a while. Now, that's not to say that it got boring for a very long time. Usually, maybe like a week before I just caught back onto that usual the heavy metal train. But it gets boring after a while to listen to the same shit over and over again. You hear all the same things, and there's no real surprise in any of it. So you expand. Now, um, my first place I went to was the blues because that was more because that's where rock and roll comes from, the blues. And I was into some of it, but not all of it. I like BB King and Stevie Ray Vaughan and one or two other guys. But I got bored of that too, so then I went to Michael Jackson. And I moved on to like Marvin Gaye and a couple R&B things, but that also got boring. And recently I got into like Bob Marley, and I like and his son Damian Marley. So yeah, now I'm into like the reggae thing. Not a lot, but I like reggae. I like it more than most of the other stuff I dabbled into. Oh, and John Williams. I'm into John Williams too. Now, most of you might wonder why I would go through like such a expansive. Um, fuck that again. Your strap is fucking broken. I've had this strap since I was like 15, and now it's all fucked. Anyway, so you might be wondering why I would diversify my music taste like that. And it's not just because you want to listen to different stuff, but being a musician, you want to expand your music taste, get more ideas in there. I'm not gonna just get my ideas like Shout at the Devil or Creatures of the Night, because eventually that just gets to the same old crap. And if you try to take influences from that, you just start sounding the same. You just start sounding like a Kiss replica. You just don't sound very unique or anything. So you expand. You put a little bit of X's in there, or you put thriller in there. Thriller. You put a little bit of thriller in there, and that expands it a little bit more. Maybe you put a little bit of the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack in there, just for a little extra, whatever, diversity and for new ideas, whatnot. That's just what that expands you a little more. I mean, Judas Priest, for example, is a group of guys that were really into like Queen, the Beatles, and Hendrix. Now, in today's day and age, we might not see that as very expansive, but back then that was a huge difference, you know, because most bands in the 70s are influenced by like Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin or Hendrix. A group like the Beatles would not necessarily be considered heavy or rock. I mean, the Beatles is a pop group pretty much with a bunch of guitars. But it was different enough that it made Priest more interesting when they put their influences in there. Hence why they came up with stuff like Love Bites or Painkiller or Victim of Changes. I mean, listen to the first Priest album, listen to the most recent one. There was a huge difference between those two bands from that point in time. Or you could take like Iron Maiden for example, which combined metal and punk. Even though Steve Harris hates the punk rock stuff, Paul Di'Anno was really into that stuff, and I imagine a couple of the other main guys are into it too. But that's just what I'm saying. I mean, there's like a lot of different groups that you could put in there to make yourself more interesting. Black Sabbath, same thing. Bunch of Beatles guys. Honestly, a huge Beatles fan. Um, Tony is big into Django Reinhardt. Geezer and Bill are jazz guys. So that combination made Black Sabbath. You would expect something like, the title track from the first record to come out from a bunch of guys that were influenced by the Beatles, the blues and the jazz. But they did. And we have Black Sabbath. And that's my point, You take a bunch of different ideas and you expand it into one big new thing. And the expansion of your music taste will come out in the way you play your instrument. You wouldn't expect me to play some reggae thing. Fuck that again. You wouldn't expect me to play some reggae thing without you wouldn't expect me to play a reggae thing in a metal context, but I could, and I've tried. Haven't tried it in a while, but there's always tomorrow. I could come up with some reggae thing if I listen to enough of Bob Marley. Gotta fix this again. Maybe it's about time to throw away this friggin' strap. Come on. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically my point. Just expanding music tastes. Yeah, not much more to say there. So, yeah, see ya.